Well, we've got our Barnfind 3D3 Rescue completely torn apart, and now we're assessing what we've got and seeing what we have to work with and what has to be replaced. So the last time around, we knocked the pistons out of this. Actually, the last time around, we knocked the pistons loose because the motor was stuck from sitting out in the weather for, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years, I don't even know. But we got it free, we got it to rotate, and we knocked all of the pistons and rods out. Now, before I get into the rest of this, I have to address something. Let me sit down. Going through the comments of the last video, there were a few people, the vast majority of you guys get it, right? We're gonna try to save this thing and just replace only what needs to be replaced. But there were several people in the comments that were like, just change the pistons, bore it 30 over, bore it 60 over. Pistons are cheap. All right, so listen, I need to make something very clear here, and I've done it numerous times over the years, but you get new viewers all the time who don't know where you're coming from. In this country, in the Western world, 6 out of 10 working people are going paycheck to paycheck. Literally, they're living paycheck to paycheck. There is no extra money. There is no cheap alternative to repairing or trying to replace or save what you've already got. This stuff costs money. $200-300 may not mean anything to you. It may not mean anything to me. It means the difference between eating and not. It means the difference between paying the electric bill or not. It means the difference between sending your kid to Little League or not. To 6 out of 10 people, working people in this country. The internet, the YouTube, is loaded with channels that do very beautiful engine builds. They use the nicest parts, the most impeccable machining and methods. I'm not saying this facetiously, I mean it, right? There's no shortage of them, they're all over the place. But I don't do that channel. I'm the advocate for the little guy, for the guy who's just struggling, for the guy who's just learning, for the guy who's just trying to make his stuff work, doesn't have any extra money. He's chasing a dream with empty pockets. I'm here for him. That's who we do this channel for. That's why everything we do is based on absolute bottom dollar budgets. We don't have $5,000 wrapped up in bottle rocket. I think maybe we got 6,000 total in slag hammer. This thing, I don't know, $300, $400, nothing. So we do everything on the channel along those lines. How can we get by? And this is the best way for people to learn. Guys that are coming up, who are trying to learn the craft of building engines or building cars. The best way for them to learn, the most accessible way for them to learn, is to work with what they have. Try to make the best out of what they have. That's why we do things the way we do on this channel. And it will never change. I was doing this was my mentality back when I was doing the magazines in the 1980s, and it's never left me, right? We do builds for the average guy, and the average guy lives paycheck to paycheck. So I know you're gonna cut a couple of corners, you're gonna skimp a little bit here, you're gonna but we're gonna look for the important things, only the important things that need to be changed, only the essential modifications, and the most basic and easy ways to do them. We do a lot of carburetor videos, and people are like, why don't you just go buy a new VRS? No, there isn't a carburetor ever built in the history of Earth that's worth more than $75 to me. That's it. That's how we approach everything here. All right, so that said, let me show you what we found so far and let you know where we're gonna go with this. So the block is finally completely torn down. Once we broke it free, it was able to rotate pretty easily. And these cylinder bores do not look bad. There's some surface rust on a couple of them, obviously, but no real serious pitting that I don't think can be, I think we can hone out what we've got and we're gonna be fine. I checked the crank flange. The crank, by the way, it's good crank. It's got a ring, not the best ring, but it's okay, right? If I was building a race engine, it's dead, it's played out. For a street engine, 300-400 horsepower like that, it's perfect. It'll live forever. All of the journals are nice. You know, obviously they're stained, you know, just from old oil sitting on them for decade after decade. All of our bearings look good. So these are all going to go right back in there. Everything, of course, is going to have to get a good thorough cleaning. And that's the next step with this, is a real good thorough cleaning. Cracked open the oil pump. Everything looks good in here. So we'll be saving a few bucks with that. There's no gouges, nicks, nothing crazy. So no obvious signs of crazy wear. I did find this little piece of debris stuck in one of those cavities there. So that could actually give you a really bad day if it gets into the rotor assembly. But this will be completely taken apart, completely cleaned out. Mostly concerned with the bypass assembly on this. I know all oil pumps are a little bit different, but in here, this is the bypass. This is what regulates oil pressure. And behind this plug is a spring and a plunger. So that needs to be thoroughly cleaned and made sure that it's perfect. So that's what we got with the block. Lots of cleaning. And I'll get to that this week coming up. Like I said, I know we can hone it out first. We'll hone it first, then we'll clean it. So this way we kill two birds with one stone. Pistons. So these four came out perfect. Like the rings are they're well lubed, they're free, everything is beautiful. None of these rings have any marks on them. This one, the rings were stuck in, and obviously we had to break one to get it out. Now digging these rings out is easier said than done. It takes patience. A little heat on the piston is good just to expand the grip, but what happens is, I'll show you on this one. See, this one, we're breaking the ring out little by little. But basically, you're going to get in behind it with a screwdriver. Pull this out. You're going to get in behind it with the screwdriver and just tap, tap, tap until you get some movement here. And then slowly work it out. What's binding the rings is, I mean, you can see right here, this corrosion. And all it is it's just gack. It's just residue. It's from sitting with the rust and the water and everything. But the ring lands themselves are fine. Even the rings looked good. Obviously, we'll be replacing these. But this engine was in nice shape, and there's very little ridge at the top of the cylinder. So, again, the reason why, no problem. We'll be able to hone this thing out, and we're good to go. So we're just digging out the rings. Time consuming, take your time, don't gouge up the ring land, don't, you know. Now, talk about like saving money. Yeah, yesterday, I'm watching a video. I watch a video from a regular YouTuber. I'm not gonna mention his name. And he had a 440 that was stuck the same way that ours was stuck. And the same way that I showed you how to free it without doing any damage. Well, I watched literally the most flamboyant display of ignorance I've ever seen. This engine was very easily saved. The pistons would have been easily saved, just like these are. But he poured a solution into each into each hole and let this thing just ferment, just absolutely destroying the pistons. No hope of these things ever being reused. Now, I just happen to have a piston. So this is from an engine I tore apart years ago, that somebody had already done that to free it up. They poured acid in it. And this right here, do you see how deep those marks are? I mean, it's completely gouged out. In some areas, it's almost deep enough to get into the top ringland. That's from soaking it in an acid solution. It would have been a completely reusable piston if it wasn't chemically liberated from the cylinder bore. I just keep this around because connecting rod. It's a nice connecting rod. So if I need one, boom, I got it. We checked over each of the pistons for any cracks in the pin area. No cracks, everything is good. So this one's just ready to be cleaned up and throw rings on it. And then these two still have some stuck rings in there. So, but overall, all of the hard parts look really good. Now comes the sweat equity. We're gonna have to clean and clean and clean and make everything as close to new as possible. True to the spirit of this revival, no, it's a rescue. True to the spirit of this rescue. This is not a build, it's not a rebuild, it's not a refresh, it's a rescue. True to the spirit of this thing, we're gonna retain every single part that's usable still and only replace the stuff that's bad. So all of the rings that are either gouged or broken, those will get replaced, and the ones that are still good, they're going right back in. Our total, I think our total expenditure, we're gonna have to buy all new gaskets, obviously. I'm gonna put a fresh timing set in it. The rings that we're gonna need, our total expenditure on this engine, on this rescue, is probably gonna be about 450, 500 bucks by the time you get all your cleaning supplies and paint and those parts that we're gonna replace. That's all it's gonna be. And I think this thing's gonna run fantastic. If it's a pig, well, we'll find out. But so far, I haven't built one that's a pig yet, and I build them all this way, on this channel. So, all right, I gotta clean up. And when we home the block, we'll do another update on it. That's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.